Hey everyone, welcome to IGN Anime Club! Yay!
Yay!
This is episode 14. This is just a conversational show where we talk about anime, just bring up a bunch of different topics. And this week we're going to talk about collectibles. If you are watching the video,
yes.
understand.
If you're listening, there is an army of Pikachus.
I'd say an army.
There's
Yeah.
like some, there's Pikachus, we got Sailor Moon, we got Goku,
We got Luffy.
Yeah, a happy beer plush. I don't know.
That's what that is.
It's
I thought it was like
a
just
beer.
a sheep on top.
it's a very happy beer.
Yeah, so we got a ton of stuff, and we obviously buy a lot. Not all of this is mine or anyone's. It's just like a collection of like The Office. We kind of stole some stuff, but don't tell
but I
them
think
that.
we
Borrowed.
Yeah,
we
fine.
borrowed
It'll
it.
go back.
It might actually accidentally end up in our homes at some point, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, maybe if I find room.
Yeah, I've had my eye on that Luffy for a while, so.
Yes.
This is your opportunity. This is it. Just put it in your purse,
Bye.
casually walk out.
So if you're new to the show, I'm your host Marina Sanchez, and joining me as always is Linny,
Hello.
Megan Sullivan,
Yay, anime.
and returning once again is Callie Plague.
Plague. It's
I was
okay.
like, wait,
all
I know
good.
your last name. Why did I just say a weird thing?
It's all good. Hi, it's
Wonderful
me.
We'll just go by one name.
Like
First names only.
Yeah,
Like Shakira.
She's like Shakira. I'm the Shakira of Anime Club.
I mean, you've got great hair, so you know.
And
Thank
you speak Spanish, so
I do.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you speak more than me probably, but
I don't know. We'll have a contest later.
yeah. Alright, so let's just jump into what we've been watching lately.
Yes. Oh, but before we do, I noticed your wonderful shirt.
Oh,
Miranda,
yeah.
tell us about your
You
wonderful
have such
shirt.
a wonderful shirt too. I love it.
I didn't get the memo.
I don't have a shirt, so.
Elena, Tuesdays, every Tuesday, wear the
You
Anime
don't have
Club
to every
t-shirt.
Tuesday, but I forgot.
we do.
I forgot. Whoa.
It's shameless. It's
Whoa.
shameless self-marketing. I mean, come on, people, let's
have
get
to-
with the program.
But I have cute shirts I want to show off.
You do have a lot of cute shirts.
Aside
That
from
is
this
true.
awesome shirt that is also the Anime Club shirt. So
I
I'm gonna-
really like that red.
Yeah, the red is
The
cute.
red
It's a
is
nice,
super cute.
Nice red.
Yeah, actually, if you guys want to get this, and I know this is the longer URL, but you can get an IGN Anime Club t-shirt at ign-store.myshopify.com.
There's a shorter URL. It's go.ign.com/store.
I'm glad somebody, see, I have the longer one for some reason.
You just
written
like to
down,
complicate
but,
things.
like,
Callie
but-
has it covered.
Yeah.
Makes
I'm
it
the one who made the
interesting.
link.
I
so.
grew up in the 90s where you had to, like, basically manually type in URLs back in the day.
http://
No, seriously. And so I still think like that because I'm an old geezer and I just can't understand these shortcuts.
No, you're not. You're wearing a super cute shirt. So.
I am wearing a super cute shirt.
You
So
can-
yep, you can go get one of these and support us. We'd appreciate it. And it says Anime Club. It doesn't even say IGN. So if anyone asks me, yeah, I got my own Anime Club.
I'm part of the Anime Club. We're all part of the Anime Club.
We are. Everyone is included in this club. Everyone is welcome. That's the awesome thing about it.
Yeah, and of course these shirts come in both women's sizes, which is the ones we're wearing, and men's sizes as well. And
Yes.
different colors too.
They also come in a teal, right?
Yeah, and I think
Mm-hmm. Yes.
men's have some different colors.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
remember
Yeah,
which
I wore
one.
the teal one last week. So we got
Yeah.
the pink, red, the teal. Is there any other colors?
I think that's it.
I think that's
Yeah.
what's it for the women's shirts.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can check it out on the website. Yeah,
Yes.
anime.
Yay, anime.
Yay, anime. So, I actually, have you guys been watching School Live? Living?
Yes.
I just
'Cause
watched the first episode.
I really want to spoil it.
I really
I
like
really
it.
want to get into spoiler talk because this is one of those shows that's like you.
It's very easy to
you know what?
spoil, but
That's okay. I don't mind. So as long as
What?
I
Wait.
don't mind if you spoil it.
Okay.
This is weird for me, right?
yeah,
But,
you don't like spoilers.
But you know why? Because I watched that first episode and I was like, eh. Yeah.
Elena, just leave.
All right, hold on.
I love you, but
I love the clutch the pearls reaction.
you didn't like
Emotional
it.
I think it's honestly because you guys kind of spoiled that twist at the end of the first episode.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So it didn't hit that hard.
I guess we just because we brought up that there was a twist.
Yeah, so for
Oh,
me,
probably.
and that's why I'm so sensitive to spoilers, because even knowing like something structurally is going to happen, it changes how I like take it in.
Aw.
Oh, I'm sorry. But the IGN review was very positive. I know because I wrote it.
See how that works?
I can
how
see
smart
why.
that
I can see why you would have liked it. Like
Yes.
the basically the storytelling trick that they use.
Yeah.
It's a cool trick. But because I was kind of anticipating, I was like, oh.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm like that with spoilers too. But that shows like my aesthetic. Like I'm like yes. Like
So, can you tell us about school life? Like Gakko Gurashi, what is
Go
this?
Gurashi, yeah.
Gurashi.
Yeah, that's how we know it's not school live, like Love Live. It's school live, because
School
Gurashi's
live.
like living, whatever.
Whatever.
I'm probably gonna screw it up, but yeah, it's well, first of all, if you don't want to get spoilered, just wait a
I
little
think
bit.
maybe like skip ahead like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's as much as we're gonna take with this.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully we won't spoil some other show for you in the meantime. Like,
Yeah.
I feel really bad if they are
Oh.
like, oh, yeah, and I'm going to push play again.
So
and
this
I-
happens. This happens.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
happens.
But yeah, so it starts out. It's about some girls that live at their school, and which is not something I have ever heard about being a thing outside of boarding schools, obviously. And one of the girls, Yuki, I believe is her name. She's the one with pink hair. She's like the trope of kind of like the lazy, like
Airheaded.
just airheaded,
Yeah.
kind of ditzy type.
Super
Very
cute.
cheerful.
Very cheerful, like kind of annoyingly cheerful.
Yes.
And it's weird. You're like, oh, she's really happy about living at school. It doesn't look very comfortable. She sleeps on the floor. And then, she kind of like hops off to the club meeting where they have spaghetti for breakfast. Again, kind of a weird thing. They have spaghetti for breakfast in Australia, but I have not heard of that being a thing in Japan.
They have mashed potatoes like in the morning in Japan too, or something.
Oh,
It's like
savory-
potato salad or something.
Oh, weird. Okay, well, I don't know. If you know if spaghetti is a normal breakfast, please let us know. But
Someone out there.
I want to live there.
yeah, I could
really
eat.
starting
Yeah,
it.
pasta. Don't get me started on pasta. I'm like Italy from Italia. But which is a different anime. My whole life is anime. So yeah. So there's this whole unsettling atmosphere to this show. So she's like, oh, I almost forgot to come to our club meeting. Like I forgot about the club and I almost went home, but we live in the school. And her friends are like, oh no. And it's like kind of
Don't
weird.
go home. You have to stay
Don't
here.
go home. And I'm like, okay, what? And, going in, I knew what was happening, but I didn't know how it was going to happen, which is what I liked so much.
Right, so-
So if you don't know, the show is about zombies.
Zombies.
It's about a zombie apocalypse with some very moe-looking anime girls.
So figured Zoe, like Moe
Zoe.
zombies.
Zoe.
Zoe.
Zoe. Zoe mommies.
Moe zombies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
sounds
yeah,
nice.
going in, I was like, oh, this is so moe. Like I almost didn't want to keep watching. The theme song is super upbeat, and apparently they're playing it everywhere in Japan. I got some intel from a friend that they were like, yeah, they keep playing this freaking song, and it's just really just happy. And I was like, I like my zombies kind of like not happy,
Or cute.
or cute at all.
Kind of weird.
I was like, my biggest concern, honestly, was how are they going to animate the zombies? Because if these zombies are like, I'd be like, So basically, throughout the episode, there's a lot of unsettling things. Like Yuki goes to class, and she's talking to everybody, and the teacher's there. But when her friend Mikun shows up, Mikun doesn't seem to notice that anybody's there, and she like barges in and interrupts the whole class and is like, Yuki, senpai. And Yuki's like so mortified, like, oh my god, we're in class. And Mikun kind of looks sad, like, oh, sorry. And she closes the door. And it was just weird. So there's weird stuff like that throughout the entire episode. There's like an unsettling on the chalkboard. There's like some stuff that says like help me, which I noticed on my third watch through of this episode because I wanted to get everything. And that's another cool thing about the show is there's lots of hints that you kind of get.
Tons of foreshadowing. You just have
Lots
to
of
look for it.
foreshadowing. You really have to look for it. But yeah, so the twist is Yuki goes to a classroom to retrieve her backpack. It's like post school time, the sun's setting, but everyone's still there, which is weird also. She goes, she's talking to her friends, she's all excited about her dog, she's talking about how cute the dog is, and Mikun comes up to the classroom, and it's revealed that all the windows are broken and no one is there.
There's,
Yuki
like,
is
blood
talking. There's blood
everywhere.
everywhere. Yuki is talking to herself, completely unaware that she's talking to herself. And basically the whole thing is that Yuki is kind of mentally unstable. She's kind of lost her sense of reality in her grief because it seems like they're the only survivors, really. The schoolyard's full of zombies.
Right.
And I was just like, yes, I was so happy that it was that dark.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know. I don't think we want to spoil episode 2, but episode 3 is almost out.
Yeah.
But 2 is just equally as good.
Yeah,
I was a little worried because they call it like memories, the kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
just kind of a flashback, sort of looking back at what school was kind of like for them.
Yeah.
But they didn't just stick to that. They progressed really well.
Yeah,
And established some new themes.
Yeah, and the kind of sad tone to this is that all the girls, there's 4 of them plus a teacher, including Yuki, and they all enable Yuki. They all pretend like, oh, we're gonna go on a test of courage. Haha. And it's really sad. Like and Mikun is the one who seems most uncomfortable with the fact that they're
letting her live out
they're
this fantasy.
letting her live her fantasy, which is kind of a dangerous fantasy, because if she doesn't know if people are dangerous or the zombies, or she thinks they're people, that's super dangerous.
Yeah.
And so there's that sense of danger that I really like, and just the sadness of it. There's like sad kind of music box music. Just really like it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, if you haven't watched it, maybe give it a try.
Yeah. Give it a
I'll
shot.
watch episode 2.
Yeah.
I like the zombie animation too. That was not disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic and creepy. So.
Yes.
Yay! So we're done with spoilers.
Woo.
Okay.
Okay. Moving along.
Yeah. We didn't review this one for very specific reasons, but I don't mind talking about it a little bit on the podcast since it can't get graphic here. Prison School. So, if you haven't seen anything from it, I know a lot of people are like, the manga's so hilarious, it's great. It is an ecchi, so it is super, sexual, but even more so than like Food Wars in a different way. And so because of the nature of the content, because it was more, like, it's weird saying it's sexual, like, in Food Wars, they kind of do orgasm-y kind of things, and they kind of just get naked. But the content in Prison School is directly more sexual, with interaction between 2 people, and because of that, it's just a little maybe not good for reviews.
It's not safe for work.
It's not. Yeah. So it's not exactly appropriate. So we couldn't.
Anime reviews are work. So
yeah. So yeah, I was watching that. I was watching Gangsta, the newest episode, and someone was like, "You're not supposed to be watching porn at work." And I was like,
Whoa, someone actually said that to you?
Yeah.
Like, for real or just joking?
Was that
when they were in the whorehouse and they just happened to walk by?
I think no. It was when Warwick was doing his other job.
His
other job. Yeah, his other job.
Yeah, his other job.
When I first saw that, I messaged Miranda and I was like, Warwick has a very interesting job. Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, it totally fits. It
Yeah.
totally fits him.
Yeah, but bring it back to Prison School.
Yes.
I was like a little skeptical because it looked a little. I don't like some of the character designs were funny. Like I like the different art style, but some of them were just like that's a little much. Even for some standards of like anime standards, like okay, she's crazily busty, and it's a little. All right, whatever. But it was still good. Like I enjoyed the first episode. I haven't got a chance to watch the second. It's funny. It just deals with a bunch of guys going to an all-girls school, and all the girls, of course, are super suspicious. Like what are these perverts doing here? And of course, the guys that are there are actually perverts. And it kind of plays on how that whole notion of teenage boys being like crazy for sex and stuff, and just trying to like peep at girls. And they are. I mean, these guys are.
Yeah, not all boys.
Guys. Sorry, I didn't mean that, but but yeah. So it's just kind of interesting seeing this take, and then of course they get caught in the act of doing something wrong, and then they have to go into this sort of prison area for them. Like they're secluded from the rest of the school. They're like tortured in a way, and they're like, oh well, we'll call our parents. And like, you're gonna tell your parents that you did this thing? I'm like, no. So they're kind of stuck in this weird situation, and it's really funny. But some stuff is hard to believe. Like there's this one scene where a guy goes into a shower room with a bunch of women, and like one girl, she has her glasses off. She's like, "Oh, I can't see you. Is that you? Whatever friend name."
I think you mentioned this.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I understand. Like whenever I take my glasses off, I'm blind. I can't read things.
Yeah.
But I can tell the shape of a man or a woman. I mean,
Yeah.
it's trying to push your suspension of like disbelief like for way too much. And he ended up going to the shower room, and it's steamy and stuff. It's like, no room is that steamy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of pushes it a little too far. And I was just like, all right. But I'll still keep watching it. But
Yeah, I've seen like scans from the manga like on Tumblr and stuff, and everyone is super funny.
Yeah.
So
Especially the facial expressions. They're just crazy.
so it's worth a shot. It depends on your threshold, I think.
Yeah.
For how much you want to expose yourself to, I guess. But
Sure.
Is that a pun?
it could be if you wanted it to be.
I do.
Yeah, so Gangsta. As you were mentioning.
I have like this. I'm starting to develop like kind of a love sort of disappointment kind of relationship with the show. I don't know about you guys.
a little bit too.
Okay, it's not just me
It's not
because
just
I can see it in your eyes. Where you're like, Elena, why do you hate everything?
Yeah.
It's not because I
want you to be happy.
I try. I do. For those who can't see it, Miranda's hugging her sheep plushie. I think I made her sad. So I'm just going to look at Megan instead so I don't make Miranda sad anymore.
I understand.
Thank you,
just
Megan.
A little bit.
Well, I'm curious what is disappointing to you then.
Right. Yeah, because I've been enjoying it thus far. Like, I know the pace is kind of slowed down a little bit, but not too much. I mean, we're getting some backstory, which is usually what you do by the episode 3, and you also usually get that overarching conflict set up by then. But I can understand, like, we kind of are missing that, like, where is this going kind of thing, in a way.
A little bit. I think what it's not gelling for me is Alex's angst. Like, so there's like on the one hand you have this kind of really like very intense sort of thing going on with the handyman, right? Like they don't pull any punches. They just kind of deal with this dark stuff in the city, which is very matter of fact, right? Like the prostitution, the spoiler warning here, where like Warwick is basically whores himself out. He's also a prostitute, really, right? So you find out he's not really that different than Alex in a way. Like they run kind of parallel that way, and I really find all that stuff super fascinating, right? I want to get more of that, and then all of a sudden, like out of like the blue, it just feels like Alex comes in and she's just angsty about everything. She's like why did this happen? Why does he do this? Why is this happening? It's like, girl, just live it, just figure it out.
See, I have the opposite thing though.
Oh, really?
Where I like that she's angsty. Like I hate when characters see something super violent and then they quickly get over it. This is not a life that she ever wanted, which was kind of established in the first episode, and that these guys are just so cold and callous and kind of meh about the things they do, and she doesn't want to get wrapped up in that. So I actually appreciate the fact that she's not just, and she's being warned, like at the end of the episode, it's like, get out of here while you still can. This city will basically suck up your soul, and these people have major problems. You might want to get out of there. So I actually like that her story arc might be from going to very super timid to maybe by the end she's kind of imploded and becomes kind of like them. Like I'm curious to see what her story arc is going to be. My issue is, I think someone brought it up in the first episode, the city is very deserted. So it has this weird feel, and like their handyman work to me isn't exactly clear. Like they run errands and stuff, but there's nothing concrete about what they do. It's kind of blurry to me.
So I think that's kind of like one of the point of their job is that they do anything.
Yeah,
they're willing to take
they'll
on
do
any task.
anything, but I still feel like
And they are also in debt to the doctor.
right,
And
like,
so they have
I get
to
all
be-
that. I get
yeah.
all that, but there is still something that is just very not compelling about their job. Like they deal with these gangsters and they'll do anything, but it's not pulling me in. So when they're running their errands, it feels, I don't know, it feels kind of slow. I don't know. If
I
that's
think
the
I
right
know
word.
what you're talking about, because for me, I would say that that's based in the fact that the story doesn't feel very cohesive yet.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they teased this thing in episode 3 where, Warwick used to be part of supposedly like one of the powerful mafia families, right? Like that got just eliminated, or a gang or something,
Warwick
right?
or Nicholas.
It was
Nick.
Warwick that was the second son of this family.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right?
some family, obviously
Some powerful
powerful
family, right? And it was actually Nick that eliminated the family and then like took off with Warwick. Like he didn't kill him for some reason, right? But the thing is that everyone, it's almost just said explicitly that everyone in their part of the city knows who they are, right?
Yeah.
So if he didn't actually if Nick didn't finish the job, why was he allowed to get away with that? And 2, Like, if work is still around, why is he not a threat to whoever, like, commissioned the job, right? Like, they tease that stuff, right?
Yeah, which was super interesting, but
if they don't do anything with it, and instead you just see them handing drugs to people, you don't understand the context for any of it. And I think that's, if I were in your position, like, I think that's where I would be confused, right?
yeah, I think
From all
that's
that
what
stuff.
it is, because they had these fascinating flashbacks where at the end I was like, wait a second, was that Nick who just did that thing to her? Like it's such an interesting dichotomy, but I don't know, it's just weird that they do these mundane jobs and yet
I think
it's not coming together.
Yeah, one big part of the show is us kind of viewing the perspective from Alex and her slowly figuring out what is their relationship, because we know obviously that was Nick in the beginning, like Nicholas. He was obviously the mercenary that killed his family, and they're still together. People recognize that. They know it's them. But it's like, how did they get there? Like, we've seen hints of, that's like one thing Gangsta does a lot, is just like kind of leaks like subtle bits of information, but doesn't take it too far, because it's like probably setting up something for later. I guess I kind of see what you mean with this particular episode. Was it kind of slow? Because like they're still doing the, let's just kind of sweep some more dust in your eyes, and it's like, hey, look, here's something new. But it's getting a little tired when the episode, it felt a little slow, maybe. Like, I kind of get that, but
Yeah, it's still really good. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think that this was not my favorite episode so far.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is different than something like Bebop, right? Where they do, like, just the control they have with, like, the pacing and how they drip out that information doesn't make it feel as confusing. So you have that kind of contrast, and we'll get to that later when we talk about Watch Party, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's kind of what it is, right? Where we're getting like I think that's a great metaphor, the whole like dust in your eyes sort of thing, as opposed to someone like just saying something that you hear in earshot and you're like, what's that? Like, I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone just going like, here. You're like, ah.
Yeah,
What happened?
Now that you bring it up, it is a little bewildering, some of the things. I think that the emptiness of the city can be explained partially by the fact that they take back roads.
Right. They say, oh, yeah, we take back roads because we can't be on the main street. And they show the main street where there's bustling people, there's cars,
So
there's vendors.
that original criticism and the problem that I think some of us had, like, it
Explained,
but also I just kind of feel...
It still does feel a little bare. It's like, just
Still
put some
not
trash
executed
cans.
well.
Put something out there. Like, it just feels kind of, or it looks flat.
It does.
I mean,
And there's no noise, right?
Yeah,
Like if you
it's
ever look at a
just-
movie that's set in New York City or in any bustling metropolitan area, even if you're in the back alleys,
You'd
you're
hear
still getting distant noises.
noise, yeah. And, yeah, there's just a lot of unanswered things that, like you said, I think that it could be, that information could be given to us in a better way to be more intriguing rather than just like, oh my God, why
teasing
don't
you
they hate
with-
each other? Oh, like, just, I'm just kind of like, what? I really need to know why they don't hate each other. Like, that's something that is not intriguing to me. I'm just frustrated by it almost.
that, and it feels like we don't have like a super big conflict at the moment. Like, we don't, obviously they're getting approached by other mafia families to have them join them and all this other stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's a big issue, but it could be. But there's, like, episode 3 of like probably 12. We don't have anything super set up, so it's just kind of, okay, this is cool background information, but what next? So,
Yeah, I'll keep watching.
yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
like, definitely.
I super enjoy it. One of my favorite ones that I look forward to.
Yeah.
Abs. But, we'll see.
That intro, though, yeah.
Speaking of abs,
Oh, God.
Pillow Boys.
Pillow Boys.
Ah!
No.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't see this, Crunchyroll picked up a show called Makura no Danshi.
Makura no Danshi, yeah.
Yes.
Which literally, I think, translates to Pillow Boys.
Sometimes anime is really weird.
Sometimes.
This is one of those times.
So this anime is for lonely people who want to watch a 3-minute 50-second video of a guy talking to you who's supposed to be handsome and just,
Yeah, and I
Very
think
ideal
the
boyfriend.
fatal flaw of this anime is that none of the boys are particularly compelling to me. I'm like, okay, so
Yeah,
he has
so-
weird hair and weird eyes,
Right,
and
so-
he's in my house.
It's a weird kind of first-person thing. There's 12 episodes. Every episode is a new guy. You're at sometime at night usually. The first episode is this guy. What's his name? Mary. Laying in bed. He's like, "Oh, welcome home."
Now you have to really establish
Yeah.
it so
Yeah.
that it doesn't like gradually like introduce you to these guys.
No,
Literally, the first cut is your bed, some strange guy hugging a pillow really tight and goes, "Oh, welcome home. How was your day?" And my first reaction was, "Who are you? Get out of my house."
I watched this the first episode, I had my blanket up to my eyes because I just didn't know what to do with myself, and I like screamed at my TV and fogged up my glasses. Like it was just the most bewildering thing that's like I'd ever seen. Because
like it doesn't make any sense.
You go in and he's like, "Hey, this is what I did today. I hissed at a cat." And
I stared out the window.
Yeah, maybe I should give you a massage. How about I massage your butt? Oh, I don't mean it in a weird way. And you're like, what? Oh my God, who are you?
And the best thing is the art direction where it quickly cuts in between. So like at one point it's like, kochi, like come here. And so you slowly go towards him, almost like you're holding a knife, like trying to keep it. And then it cuts to the ceiling where you're looking down like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's still talking normally, and he's not looking at you. He's looking somewhere else.
Yeah. And
you're on the ceiling. He's staring out at the door, and you're like, what is happening right now?
He's in a legitimate like body pillow pose too. Like you're supposed to want to buy body pillow merch from. Like, I don't know. I feel like this show is just made to sell body pillows.
Like it's like Mattel trying to sell you toys, or in this case, like body pillows.
Yeah. My favorite like cut moment was he turns to the camera and is like, "Tell me about your day," and then it cuts to a close up of his face, and he's just listening, and then it immediately cuts back. Yeah, and I was like, "This is some Dora the Explorer
you can
stuff."
pause it if you want to tell him about your day.
If you want to tell him about your day, you pause it, and you're like, "Well, I didn't hiss at a cat today. I have a job."
Yeah.
And then,
and he was estás? Muy bien.
That's what it felt like. He was like, "And you?" Like it just felt like like I was watching Blue's Clues or something. Like,
yeah. So far, it's just been why
Well,
the whole
with
time
the
for me.
salary man, like your senpai, whatever.
So we looked up. Really weird. We had a whole moment last week where we looked up all the boys.
Boys.
The boys.
Air quotes.
So the second episode is Senpai Boy. He's a project leader and he wears a suit.
He's a salary
He's your
man.
work senpai. Yeah, he's a
is.
salary man.
He's 28 years old.
He's 28.
28.
One of the few that are older than 18.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is he the 28-year-old or is he the 32-year-old?
No, he's a 32-year-old.
He's a 32-year-old.
Library boy.
Library boy is
Yeah,
28.
there's 28, but there's also a 40.
There's a 41-year-old
Yeah,
vendor.
he's the fruit stand seller that I basically told Callie. I was like, oh, so he's the guy where you didn't marry him, but you'd like to like take him somewhere. Got it.
Yeah, I mean maybe they got the idea from BuzzFeed and all those random vendors. There's this weird internet craze about hot
Go
fruit
on.
vendors.
Yes, where do I find these fruit vendor boys?
Really muscular. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, one of the boys in the
All right, I'm looking this up.
in the intro. Yeah, I'm curious about where I find one.
So anyway, sorry, senpai.
Senpai boy. Yeah. Well, so in the intro, which takes up probably a third of the episode, because it's a short form thing. You see a lot of abs, and I was like, okay, maybe I can get behind this. But no, Senpai Boy's episode was like, hey, you're awake, and we're in a car, and I'm like, oh no,
What is,
no way,
man, did you get really drunk? You still seem drunk.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, excuse me, what?
Whoa,
Like, it was predatory. Like it was really predatory.
Really weird.
Like you wake up. The episode opens as if you're waking up in a car, in a vehicle, and he's like,
Like a limousine or something.
yeah, like some sort of like a company car or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you got really drunk. Oh, you're crying. Do you always cry when you're drunk? And I'm like, I would be crying because I'm with my coworker who has abducted me in a car.
He was potentially trying to date rape me.
Nice. He wanted to help you get home.
Yeah,
Well,
then he
then
tells you what a loser he
He
is.
tells
at
you how
work.
bad he is at his job. He's like, I just really screwed up last week, and the dude yelled at me, and I thought I was gonna get fired. I thought it was the end. I was like, okay.
It was okay.
I was like,
everything was all right.
Clearly, you get pretty real when you're drunk, because
Yeah, and then he's like, now that I've said that, why don't you go to sleep and I'll wake you when we get to your apartment? And I'm like,
that's the other thing. How does he know where I live? I haven't invited him to my apartment before.
Callie, can I just have a director's commentary style track for each one of these episodes?
I would happily produce that.
That would be amazing.
Kelly and I talked about like IGN reacts to Makura no Danshi and just have you can't show the show, but you can just have like Max and Brian Altano and all those people
that would
just
be gold.
Just being like, what?
yeah, just like
What?
reacting to what is happening.
Yeah. So watch episode 1.
Just get a feel for it. It's 3 minutes.
It's
and,
3
50
minutes
seconds.
long.
Three
even
minutes
4
and 50 seconds. She'll never get back. But
It's
let us
silly.
know. Let us know what you think. Yeah, no, it's not like
silly.
it's a silly. I think it's meant to be silly. Like I'm not complaining. I think it's entertaining, and I'm gonna keep watching it because talking about it is like the highlight of my day. But
I mean, we all gather up and
Yeah, I showed it to somebody this weekend, and he was just kind of like, "Wait, why is he here? Why is he in this house?" Like it was just, it was good. It's
So
a thing.
yeah, and there's also apps like these. I know this, but
How do you know this?
Because I was in a long distance relationship for a really long time and it was sad. Anyway, so they have apps like these. So this isn't like an revolutionary weird thing where these guys are just talking to lonely women. And there's also like women into like the same versions for the apps and stuff too. So like this is just like one of those. Hey, you want a 2D boyfriend girlfriend to talk to? Here you go, kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's for lonely housewives.
No judgment.
Or for people in long distance relationships who are sad.
Or single people.
You know, it's
It's for everybody.
For
Looks
someone.
pointedly at the camera.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, so it's just silly.
It's
really
silly fun
show
so far.
from this-
Oh yeah, no, it's
of this
it's
season.
silly fun.
It's a little weird.
The
and
one
creepy,
thing, the
but-
one thing that I was nervous about is when we looked at the list of boys. There is a 5-year-old.
Yeah, that is not
awkward.
okay.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna take the whole it's a little kid and you're being like big sister and helping him out or something like.
I
It's a little weird, but yeah.
His title I think is Cherub Boy.
Yeah, which makes me very nervous. Sort it out, Japan. Like I do
Yikes.
not like that stuff. Nope.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
moving on.
So
Moving
that's,
So that's Makura no
that's-
Danshi.
Let's
Makura
go,
no
boys.
Danshi.
Let us know what you guys think.
In the comments or on our Facebook page. Miranda, what's our Facebook page again?
Facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club. And it is labeled IGN Anime Club official group. Someone asked because there's 2 groups. The official one is the official one. So, you know.
That's how you know.
Truth in advertising.
Yes, always truth in advertising. So that's that. Did anyone else watch more Charlotte?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that show.
I really like it. I teared up. I almost cried at. Well, this isn't a spoiler. I just got emotional. Like that show just keeps getting darker.
It has some. At least it has some light tones. So I love that every week you find a new kid with some wonky fault in their power.
I love that their powers just kind of suck.
Yeah, they're really good for a few seconds. Like the fact that you can possess somebody, or you can teleport. It sounds really cool, and then you see the one character
bleeding.
Raiden Superman tornado into a guy and smack him into the wall, and then he gets injured, and then I can't remember the main character's name. He gets injured because he's possessed the guy. Like it's just this comedy of errors.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful metaphor for what it's like to be a teenager, right? Where it's like you're at the age where you're gonna regenerate the fastest, right? Like you'll heal quickly. Like if you wanted to, biologically, you could reproduce really easily. Like seriously, your body is in prime time at that age.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work right because you still haven't
They found
figured it out yet.
scientifically that a teenager's brain, actually, the wires really don't connect because everything's in a transformative period. And so
still-
it makes sense that they have these wonky powers they can't control.
Yeah, your brain doesn't stop developing until 25,
Yeah.
I think. So, I mean, it is a very apt metaphor because the whole thing is that they're going to grow out of these powers.
Yeah.
But they're kind of coming into their own and figuring out how are these powers useful to me, even though they are tragically awful powers. Like
Or
one
tragically
girl.
flawed.
Yeah, they're not awful. They have cool. Yeah, wrong word. But they're like, oh, I'm really good at being possessed. Like that's my power.
I can be possessed.
Yeah, really good at that.
Yeah, whereas her sister could be like, I'm going to light things on fire. And I'm like, whoa,
Sweet.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the flaw with that was, though.
Well,
I think it was just more focused on the sister. I wrote down her name because I can't remember. Oh, Yusa. So Yusa and Misa were the 2 sisters, and I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the flaw with the fire? Probably
that
setting things
she
on fire
can't
is a flaw.
willingly- or she can't control whenever she's possessed.
No,
The sister. Misa's the sister, right?
Yeah, Misa's the sister,
Because
and
when
she
she
had a-
possesses her younger sister,
pyrokinesis.
She has pyrokinesis.
Right,
But
but the younger sister can't control when she's possessed.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's
flaw.
her flaw.
yeah, her
We were
flaw.
trying to
But
figure
the
out Misa's flaw.
fire.
I don't think Misa technically has a flaw. I mean,
Besides
besides
being,
that, she can't stay
being dead.
and that she's dead.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
That's
I
kind
did
of
like
not-
that.
not
I did
ideal.
like that the emo guy who comes in and he can locate people, but he has to be soaking wet to do it. It's such a weird, random, hilarious.
It's kind of
thing.
like a game of Would You Rather. Like, would you
And
rather
how do
be
you
soaking
discover
wet all the
that?
time?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you discover that, right? Like, it only works when I'm soaking wet. Like, do you swim a lot? Does someone accidentally dump Gatorade on your head?
Yeah, that is. How how do you
Did you
figure
forget
out
your umbrella? Like,
I don't know. How do you figure it out?
Yeah, that is a
I
good
just find that
question.
hilarious. I'm like, who thought of that? Like, this person's flaw is going to be like every week. I look forward to figuring out like what people's powers are and what their flaw is, which is so much more interesting.
Yeah, it is really fun. Because the first time he came in, they didn't explain that he had to be soaking wet, and I was like, oh, he came here from swim class because he was in a hurry. I made up an explanation in my brain, and then they were like, oh no, he has to be soaking wet to do his thing, and I was like, oh, he naturally.
Yeah, it just has to be. I thought he was doing some weird emo thing where he was like trying to be cool, and then it was like, they're like, no, he doesn't really want to do that. He just has to.
Just gotta, yeah.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to talk about Ushio and Tora.
Okay.
Because it's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah,
I say that. Did anyone watch episode 3 as well?
I'm not caught.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it.
I've been
but-
watching a lot of movies lately, so I've been behind on anime.
Like anime movies or just movies in general?
Like straight up movies.
Straight up movies?
And reading.
Yeah.
Diversifying.
Yeah, I just thought that the
media.
third episode was interesting because there's a lot of like Japanese lore and mythology that they always touch on in these episodes, and I always mean to like research more of that because it's all about like demon possession and like the Japanese belief that like an angry spirit will come back and haunt you in some way, and it was really interesting. It was kind of dark at times, but it was still. It's still pretty funny, but I don't want to say anything more because I was just like, go watch it, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Okay, we'll do next week.
Next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a really quick, funny story that I told all of you, but the people watching at home don't know that I accidentally got my mom into Food Wars. That's
true. It's the best.
It's really great, and she's really into it. So what happened was I was catching up on it like over a weekend, and my mom called me on like Sunday night and was like, "Oh, how's your week? What'd you do?" And I was like, I had just caught up, and I was still super pumped because I got really into it. And I was like, "Oh, I watched this cool food anime. It was so cool. There's so much cool food stuff." She was like, "Oh, what's it called?" And I was like, "Oh, no." Oh no. I was like, I can't pretend I don't know what it's called. So I was like, it's called Food Wars, but I'll just send you the food clips. Like, it's cool. I'll send you the cool stuff. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine. She was like, no, what's it about? I was like, it's about a school, cooking school, and she's like, oh, it sounds interesting. And I was like, but don't, and it's kind of weird. There's some weird stuff. It's weird. You won't like it. And she's like, no, that makes me want to watch it more. So she's like, how do I watch it? So I was like, okay, here's how you watch it. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. So she texts me like 2 days later, and she's like, I stayed up until 1 a.m. watching anime. And I was
You
like,
have the best mom.
I know.
I was like, wait, excuse me, what? And yeah, she got super into it. She's obsessed. And she was like, never recommend an anime to me again because I'll never have time for all the anime I want to watch now. Like, I turned my mother into an otaku. And
Good job.
yeah, I'm really
One
proud of myself.
show, it's impressive.
Yeah. And she sent me an email with a screenshot of like Tarokoro being like sad, and she was like, "This meme is about me." It was the cutest thing. I love my mom so much. So
So different than my parents.
So different from my parents too.
so my mom's been watching an ecchi anime. Well, no big deal.
My mom couldn't even pronounce Sailor Moon correctly for the longest time. Like, I come home and I said, "Are you gonna watch Sailor Purple Heart?" No, Mom, I know she's a soldier, but I don't think she got any Purple Heart for battle. And it was like
Awesome.
Sailor, it was like super Purple Heart Diamond. Like, she would keep adding words to it. It was really cute, but she knew what it was, and she's the one who always took me to Japantown, San Francisco, to get I'm holding up my Sailor Moon doll right now, my Sailor Moon collectibles, because it's a show with a lot of things that you can collect that are really awesome. Megway.
Megway. You should do that every week.
That's good.
That's good.
Because our topic is
Collectibles, as we said earlier. Yeah. Last night I spent $50 on Pikachus, so,
Yeah.
whatever.
that's not very surprising, but yeah, there's new Pikachu stuff out, right? Like
Yeah.
there's-
So I know people give me grief sometimes about Pikachu stuff because, yeah, Pokemon's an anime, but let's all recognize it's not the best. It's fine. But guys, the Pikachus are so cute.
Look at this guy. I'm holding up the Pikachu with the raincoat. How can you not like that? And there's Salaryman Pikachu.
So always falls over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's always
which
drunk.
is totally
God,
appropriate.
senpai
Too
boy.
much electricity. Too much electricity.
Senpai Pikachu.
He's actually
Just hitting it too hard.
Just
my
it's working so hard. Hitting that sake,
But yeah, so they announced the September special edition or monthly Pikachu. So in the Japanese Pokemon centers, they're having one special Pikachu every month, which I've been doing unboxing videos for. So I did it for the Raincoat Pikachu and the Business Pikachu. We have another one coming. But for September, we have a pastry chef Pikachu. And I love baking. And pastry, I want to be pastry chef one day maybe. So I was just like, what? And I bought it immediately. So that
I totally want you to be a
is-
pastry chef so
Yeah.
that I can have delicious pastries. I
Yeah.
love
Just bring them all the
pastries.
time.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
we
then-
should, instead of, well, in addition to watch party, we should have Miranda brings us brownies and we watch anime party.
Oh
That's
my
fine,
gosh,
too.
yeah.
I like that.
We could have a food critique show.
Yeah.
It's like Bay Area Check
Don't
Days,
judge
but
me.
it's like no, it's good though. It's like
Don't judge me.
you're like, don't judge me. Well, I would suggest getting used to that because if you open a restaurant or something, somebody's going to do that. But I bet it'll be delicious.
Yes.
I will always
Yeah.
say it's delicious because I've never met a super bad pastry. I don't think.
Thanks. Yeah, I think they're usually pretty good. Anyway, what? I have a Pikachu cookie cutter. Anyway, but what kind of things do you collect? I'm the worst.
So I had to stop collecting just things in general. Like I've gone digital, all this other stuff because my living quarters are tiny. In
San Francisco.
San
in
Francisco.
living. But when I was collecting stuff, I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know if you remember this, Megan. But back in the day when Sailor Moon was still like on for the first time in the States and all
Yeah.
that, there were all the collectible cards. Do you know what I'm talking
Vaguely
about?
remember those.
So they would just release these like different sets of cards, and they would just have like different characters featured on them with like information about them, and then there would be like holographic versions.
Yes, I
and,
did
like,
have
prism
those.
versions and like all sorts of ones. So I have like a binder full of these. I have no idea what to do with them because like for me that era has passed, but I don't want to like just throw them out.
I
or, like,
regret that I got rid of some of my stuff, especially the
Yeah.
art books. I can't believe I got rid of those gorgeous art books. But like
you got what?
I had
Megan,
both
you
art
messed up.
books.
You messed up so bad.
And I had nowhere to
Yeah.
put them after college. I had
judgmental
nowhere
today.
to put any of my. I had. Speaking of collecting, okay, so I still have my posters. I had the
I have my
cards.
posters.
I had. Oh my god! I had the art books, the manga. I had the VHS tapes because shut up, don't judge me, I'm old.
I think we've all had VH. I had all the Pokemon on VHS.
I don't know. Our audience also skews young, so if they're like, "What's a VHS tape?" I'm like, "Oh, that would make me so sad." But like, and I
Maybe
have
we'll
the
still know
cards
what those
too.
are.
And my favorite card was one of Ray and Usagi pulling out each other's hair and like doing that with their mouth.
I think I have
and-
that one.
Yeah, that's like my favorite one, and I'm sad I gave my stuff away because I'm like, especially the art books, they were so beautiful, but I had nowhere to put them.
Yeah, on the note of not having anywhere to put things, in lieu of buying like DVDs or anything, I keep the website My Anime List.
Yes.
I keep track of everything on there, and that's how I like collect the episodes I've watched, just for my own like. Look
really
at how much
smart.
anime I've watched. This is my life, and like
How
I've
many
lost
hours
control
and
of my.
days have you spent on the anime?
I plead the fifth, and yeah, so it's just for my own reference. So in lieu of collecting, but I do have all the Fruits Basket manga because
Original Japanese version or
No.
the English translation?
the English translation. But like,
That's how I justified it to myself when I was like, I'm going digital. I don't want to go digital, but it doesn't really matter because if it's an English translation, it's not the real volume anyway.
it's how you like make yourself feel better. Like I'm still a collector at heart. Yeah. No, and I got the I actually haven't watched the Death Note anime. I've only read the manga, which I don't. That's just how it happened. I don't know. But I'm gonna go back and watch it eventually when I have time. Which question mark. But I got like the black edition, whatever it was, where like the edges of the pages are black and
That's
like
rad.
it's 2 volumes per book basically, and it's really cool. It looks awesome. And I was like, well, I need this on my shelf. I don't want it. I need it. It's very important to me.
Would you say that's like your favorite collectible then? Or do you have a favorite of all the things that you own physically?
I have a lot of fan art that I really like.
Yeah.
I have this beautiful Kill la Kill print that I love so much, and I have a Madoka print, and I really want Nendoroids of like everything, all the waifu in the world.
Nendoroids are just-
All the waifu in the
are
world.
just the best thing.
I love
I
Nendoroids.
have my Satsuki Nendoroid, and we are waiting.
Waiting with bated breath for that Fight Club Mako. I want it so bad.
Yeah, so Nendoroids are really frustrating because they only come out in limited runs. So you have to pre-order, or you have to hope that whatever one that you want is going to be available at some store, with the exception of like the Toon Link.
Toon Link I have.
Yeah, that one's not like easily to get. It's at Target.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I guess they figure that's one people will like, but a lot.
What's the collectible you were talking about, Miranda, that had like the special tag because they're
All Picasso?
ripped off?
Picasso, yeah.
Ah.
So not Nendoroids, but kind of in the same vein. Like Nendoroids also get a lot of rip-offs if you don't buy them properly on eBay.
you have to be
and-
really careful.
Yeah, because
the
they're
knockoffs are not good.
Right, because they are in such limited runs, so you have to stay on the lookout for them. When you can first buy them, sometimes they're on like $60.
Yeah.
And they go up to like way more.
Yeah, there's a
the-
couple I want. There's like a Devil Homura. I really want that one, but it's like easily $100 at least.
Yeah, like the Fight Club Mako, just Kill a Kill figure. She was first sold, I think, at Anime Expo.
Yeah, it was like
And-
originally a limited edition, not limited edition, but like exclusive to Anime Expo until re-release.
Yeah, until
or
a
something.
certain point. Like they had a limited amount or a limited number at Anime Expo, and then they have them at another expo. And then if you want it, you have to get pre-order from their site. So I have like my email notification set up. I'm like, tell me when it's ready.
Yeah, so you just
can
like
pre-order.
you get a Good Smile account and you keep track because they have like a list of all the Nendoroids that have been announced per month, per year, and you can see like, oh, is this character gonna come soon, and you can set notifications for like notify me when pre-orders are available because I really want this figure.
Yeah, and their site's also in English, so it's
Yeah.
not hard to navigate or anything.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think they have it in a lot of different languages, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But they also have Figma on that website, Good Smile.
Yeah, it's just, and their figures are so nice.
Really, really
They're
nice.
designed really well. They're totally worth the money.
High quality, yeah.
Yeah, those are probably like my favorite kinds of collectibles,
Mm-hmm.
even though they are kind of hard to come by. Like I know later in the year they're going to do a Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper
Yep.
Android, and I'm just yes.
Yeah, they have a Metal Gear one. They have some Pokemon. They have a red, which I think is based on the manga, where they have like red and blue, and then they have a Cynthia, who's a gym leader.
Yeah, and they have Iron Man and Batman. They have tons.
They have tons, and then they have like tons of anime characters. Like I really want Chitoge from Nisekoi. They have one of those.
Yeah, it could be friends.
Oh my god, they can be friends!
Yeah, but there are like tons and tons of
should
figures.
do
And they're
that.
like, yeah, they're super high quality,
Yeah.
and you can like rearrange your pieces.
Yeah,
which is
so
cool.
Nendoroids come in a box with like lots of different facial expressions and different pieces, and sometimes different like props and even outfits. So like the Toon Link one comes with a couple different expressions, with like a piece of heart, with a shield. There's one that I really like because it's just really pretty. It's like Harvest Moon Hatsune Miku, and she's it's like a Chinese festival, and she has like a moon cake and like
Harvest
a fan.
Moon has the cutest plushies too. Like, I
Oh,
love,
speaking of like actual the Harvest Moon games,
yeah.
I am collecting those plushies. Speaking of collectibles, I have the cow and the horse.
You have the cow and the horse. I gave you the horse. I had the llama, the pig. I wanted the cow. I haven't gotten the cow. But you said Harvest Moon, that like clicked
Are we
in my
talking about
memory.
the ones that you could get like at E3?
Yeah.
I have the dragon.
You have a dragon? That's awesome.
We should have.
On the lot.
They can all be friends.
Yes.
All
they
of our
should
collectibles should be friends.
They should
Yeah.
all be friends.
So if you guys have any Nendoroids, or if there's any you want, like I know there's so many characters I want as Nendoroids because they're just like some of the best figures. They're more affordable than some of the more expensive Figmas, and sometimes they're on the same price.
And they're
too.
customizable because you can change the expressions.
You can mix and match, so I
Yeah.
can have someone wear Sassy's dress. Or
Yeah, you can buy like a Love Live one and
Yeah.
mix up the outfits. They have
Yeah.
all the Love Live characters.
Yeah, so I would say Nendoroids are definitely some of the coolest collectibles.
Yeah, I am obsessed with Nendoroids.
Yeah, so tell us which kinds you guys have, or if there's any that you wanted and didn't get. So
yeah.
Slight tangent. Who is the Zorro statue thing here? I think we said Luffy earlier. This isn't Luffy.
This is
no,
No.
no, this.
oh,
is
this
Luffy,
is
and
Luffy.
then
This
there's
is
Zorro.
Zorro.
Yeah.
Whose is this?
Mike Mamone. He's on our syndication team.
Because it's super awesome.
And we
The
have one
detail on
that's
it
really
is
good.
incredible.
Yeah, he got that
you
at
can
Fanime.
you can actually see like the cuts of like muscle and like kind of like vein simulation here in the arm.
Yeah, this is the
It's
kind
really
of
cool.
collectible I like this sort of.
Yeah, like
neat.
really highly detailed. He got that at Fanime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does anyone do like the mecha like kind of figurines, like building them and painting them here?
I don't.
No.
I
don't
wish I
know.
had
I've
the
always
skill.
wanted to get into that, but I couldn't afford it when I was younger, and now it's like, where am I going to put it?
Yeah. 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 Space is definitely an issue when it comes to
Space,
loving things.
I have to
space
fight-
and pets,
yeah.
pets,
Oh, yeah.
pets that jump and knock things over because they're jerks.
Oh. I have to give a shout out to Hello Kitty because I collect Hello Kitties, and I just got 5 new ones, and I spent like an exorbitant amount of money. So I got
So
Rainbow
cute,
Cupcake
too.
Hello Kitty, and
Super cute.
because there's technically a Hello Kitty anime, so don't give me flack for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got like barnyard animal Hello Kitties, and I was so excited. I spent way too much
Oh my
money on
gosh.
them. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird. I mostly collect like video game stuff. Like even though I'm an anime fan, for a while, like especially in the 90s, there was like the stuff you could get was like knockoffs and just sort of garbage. Like they had a Sailor Moon doll that looked like hot trash, and I hated that thing.
Wait, didn't they have those ones that like spun or something?
Sky Dancers.
Yeah. Oh, those weren't Sailor Moon. No, my mom got really confused then. She was like, "We shouldn't have thrown away your Harvest Moon dolls." And I was like, "You mean Sailor Moon?" And then it was all like, never mind.
Yeah, yeah,
But the 90s is my point. Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Stuff
usually
in the
when I
90s.
collected stuff for anime, it was like manga, art books, posters, because like the dolls and like plushies and stuff. Like no offense to my adorable Sailor Moon plushie, but she's not the best. Like she's kind of cheaply put together, and so I wasn't a huge anime collector because for a while there wasn't like super high quality stuff. There wasn't like Play Arts quality stuff.
Right.
And then now I'm like looking at this Zoro thing, and I'm like, actually, that's really cool.
It's really
Oh.
cool, right?
You've been to Japan for
Yes.
sure. Has anyone else been?
Yes, I've been.
Have you guys ever looked at like what are the UFO catcher type
Yes,
things?
and they're amazing.
Are they?
Yes.
I always like imagine it to be like this like mecca, right? Where like you can hear the oh in the background like as you walk up to them.
Yeah, UFO catchers actually have really good quality plushes and prizes too. So
Yeah, they're everywhere, but I didn't pay much attention to them.
Are
to
they
be honest.
hard to actually succeed at?
Yeah, you have to have skill like me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but they can be challenging. Just depends on like the figure or whatever prizes in there.
Yeah, all I
Right.
remember about Japan was pachinko machines were everywhere. It was just like, it was super crazy.
Yeah, I have 2 friends in Japan right now, and one of them texted me yesterday and was like, "So I got you some serious anime merch from
Nice.
Japan." So that's exciting.
Those are friends.
right.
Yeah.
Good friends.
Yeah.
Keep them.
Yeah.
So since we all can't go to Japan, where do you guys get your collectibles and stuff? Like I know that's a common question we get, and it's hard because you want to find things that are authentic too. You don't want to get
Yes.
ripped off because unlike the 90s, there is many ways to get
Stuff legally.
yeah,
Yeah.
official licensed good quality products.
Otaku Mode has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, actually,
Play
Otaku is
Asia
pretty cool.
sometimes has stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
soundtracks
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like Good Smile, as we mentioned. I get all my Hello Kitties at the Sanrio store because they're guaranteed Sanrio.
Right, and so we're lucky we have like Japantown out here.
Yeah.
but
I was
even
gonna say,
then,
that's where I go.
some of them have knockoffs.
Oh, yeah, they totally do.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful. Like if you were ever at a convention or anywhere else that doesn't have like licensed posters, usually whenever someone like the El Picasso plushes, there's like a poster that comes with the official merchandise. If they don't have that poster hanging, then you can tell it's probably not official.
Yeah.
Or, it's just some expensive knockoff, and who wants to pay for that? So
Yeah. The importance is you don't want to pay good money for something that's not
Right.
the real thing.
Right. As opposed, like, if you find a cheap Sailor Moon thing and you like it anyway, then no
Yeah,
problem for
that's-
you, or Digimon or whatever. But
And if you're into like the knockoffs, then you would go somewhere like Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
yeah.
Chinatown.
But they
San Francisco.
have like very like bottom barrel quality knockoffs, and then sometimes they have like nicer
We were
things.
driving back from California Extreme, my friend and I, and we went past this store in Chinatown, and it had like a Dragon Ball Z character that had Goku on it, and immediately I was like, I don't think you have the license for that, but it's all this like anime knockoff stuff. So it was like a mix of like Dragon Ball and like I don't know Hello Kitty and Sailor Moon, like all this sort of old '90s anime, and it's just funny. And then you see that, and you're like, well, if I want cheap knockoffs, I can go there. That's
Yeah.
where I got my Sailor Moon posters long ago.
Yeah. At IGN, you kind of have to have a lot of stuff on your desk. It's a thing. A lot of people have tons of
You have to
collectibles on
fight
there.
for real estate too. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to take one of Jason's things and shove it off his desk one day because it keeps inching onto my desk and knocking over my dolls and action figures. And I'm like, oh man,
We could populate our desks with just knockoffs because it's way more affordable.
It is true.
than having a Nendoroid army,
but then
which I still want.
that.
But then
cuts
the
into-
quality.
Yeah, then the
You use
quality.
quality.
You have to kind of weigh the options. Like, do I want to spend $60 on a really good thing,
Yeah.
or buy,
Right.
5 things but have them
meh.
be kind of a
Right.
dubious quality?
Amazon's pretty okay. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some things that you can find by seller, and so like if it's an official company or something, then you're probably on the right track. But if it's some random name, then maybe it's a little sketch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places you can find stuff. Of course, whenever you go to the convention, I don't know about you guys, but I load up. So I spend
Oh, yeah.
so much money.
Conventions are dangerous.
Yeah. they're
Bring a
super, super
spare
dangerous.
suitcase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pack really light because the way back.
Yeah. So let us know about your guys' collectibles because we want to
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
Send
And
photos.
on-
Some people have some really
Wow.
cool rooms.
Really cool
They
setups.
do.
And on that note,
Yeah.
if you have a really cool collection or a setup or a way that you display stuff that you like, send them in to us. Where should they send them? Photos, I mean.
You can send
photos.
your photos to IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com. That is our email.
And we'll include that in the article, I guess, too. But so send them to us, and we're going to be picking our favorites and turning them into an article to show off people's collections.
You can also tweet to them to
Tweet to IGN,
IGN.
probably use hashtag IGN Anime.
Yeah, so that's IGNIME.
That way I can find them and find all your cool collections because we want to see how everybody else stores their stuff when they do have room in their living quarters.
We can live vicariously through you.
Your coolest stuff. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
show it off. Like
I'm jealous.
Yeah, like we really want to see it because obviously we really like stuff. If you're watching the video, yeah,
Tons of stuff. Yeah.
tons. This is a fraction of the things that we could find. So yeah, we're gonna be building that article, and I really want to see everybody's collections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be sure to send those in.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So, anime watch party.
Yeah.
That is next on the list. And it's also sad because it's getting close to the end of Bebop. With that being said, we are going to start doing a poll for the next watch party. I think we're going to do it next week. So be on the lookout for that. That will be on the article. And so that's next week's episode. Go to the article and make sure you vote. Just stressing like how important it is. We want to make sure this is a show that you guys want to watch. We're going to be taking a few suggestions. We've gotten a lot of repeat suggestions. There was a poll going on the Facebook group that had like a lot of great responses, like good debates too. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for your recommendations and suggestions, and we are listening. So at least I am.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I see all those.
Hey, we're
Yeah,
all
I saw-
listening.
Yeah. I saw
We lurk.
Bakemonogatari on there, and my friend cosplayed Senjo Kahara, so I was excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Stuff like that.
yay! So we'll have that next episode. Also some other cool stuff next episode, but we'll talk about that later.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, so this week for Cowboy Bebop, we watched episode 23 and 24. We're so close to the end, and it feels like it. Episode 23 was Brain Scratch, and we'll lead with a comment from Ian Barkis at _Zelda is Life on Twitter.
I agree.
Wow, yes, I agree too. What an odd yet thought-provoking episode of Bebop. I can't help but think of Daft Punk's Television Rules the Nation.
Yes.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah, this episode is started like a really cool, weird way with us watching TV with
Spike Channel surfing.
Yeah,
So creepy.
I love
That
it.
infomercial.
Yeah.
So
Scratch.
creepy.
Yeah, Scratch
Yeah.
is a weird company.
I've seen weird like meditation videos that are like that too, where it does like all these crazy shots, like sort of go into other shots and have all of these symbols on them. And I was like, somebody did their research when they decided to animate this, because it was like it feels like a creepy cult kind of thing, you know.
They did a good job with it.
They did a really, really good job with it. And I like how like the running theme of all the channels is about this cult from like different perspectives. Like even the woman who was like calling into like a show where you can buy stuff, it was like she starts hollering and screaming about like her son is lost, and that's really weird. And the guy's like, well, that's all the time we have. Like you see this weird like connection with all these random shows that all mention the cult in different ways, and you can see like how it's become a part of our lives. Like at the end, they're like, television is practically its own religion now. Like it gives you all the information and it tries to control you. And it was like an interesting, deep, kind of creepy.
So one of the funniest things about this episode that I noticed was when they were talking about game consoles. They're like, "Oh, no more messing up your wired controllers." It's like, you guys didn't have the foresight to make wireless controllers.
They were still using Betamax machines, guys. So
Yeah.
But I was just like,
I mean, it was
wired controllers.
they're using Betamax in the same time where they had space travel. So this is just a weird universe. I've just come to
Well,
accept
Betamax
this.
was like an old thing they had to find, but
Yeah.
wired controllers.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that like Faye wasn't that young, like relative to when they were still using Betamax versus the real world. So I still think it's like a weird, just like take on technology.
Some of the technology stuff is weird. I mean, throughout the entire season,
But it's kind of interesting how like the brainwave thing was like basically VR, and I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if they just gave companies an idea of how to use this.
So their VR games look bad.
Well, VR has like been around as a concept for a while.
Sure,
right?
yeah,
Like, they tried to like do something in the 90s, but like the hardware wasn't there yet. So it's kind of weird to see it like come in now.
All red Virtual Boy.
Yeah. That's super cool.
I thought the concept was cool, but I did have a couple of like nitpicky things in the episode that I couldn't ignore.
Yeah.
It was like the whole like, okay, so Faye got drugged, like put to sleep, but like how? Like, is it
So
the
it was something with
television? Is it the drug that's being released in the
I thought it
air?
was something with the high frequency pictures it was putting out. And that's why Ein was really upset whenever they were watching Jet
when
put on
they were
the
trying
game.
to do the
Right. That's why he had to bite him out of it, and he had a problem. He was like, you can't do that kind of thing. So I think it was Faye just trying to go do one of her Faye things, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna try this stupid thing out, and then she gets
she tried to infiltrate the club so that or the cult so that she could
Right.
arrest the guy, and then
But she wasn't actually wearing a headset, right? She was just in,
Right, but-
like there was all those TVs there, and so I was like, well, it just for me it's hard to like suspend disbelief just because it's like okay, like there's this basically spoiler alert, of course, obviously watch party, but there's like this basically comatose kid. Right? Like, how are you supposed to engineer that from just entirely through,
So-
like, manipulating stuff in your brain?
If it's based off like supersonic weird waves or something, then they don't necessarily need the game piece. Maybe that's like just a thing to manipulate your screen, because if you notice in that room had a ton of screens. And
Yeah, but that's a little, like, that's what I mean. Like, it's a little too coincidental. Like, who just, like, randomly piles a bunch of
maybe
TVs?
it's followers. Like, maybe that's like how first it
No.
started with the game piece, and then they have like obviously their brainwashed kind of followers.
Sure.
Set that kind of stuff up.
But I have a thing against the things where you have to like invent a reason, right? Where you have to be like, okay, well maybe this works because of this happened and this happened and this happened. And I'm like, nope.
it requires a little cognitive dissonance to like put it all together.
I do like that Faye got sucked into it though. Even if she was like trying to get the bounty or whatever, she just got lost in it. And we saw her on TV. Just I thought this could help me get rid of my debts kind of thing.
I actually
So
thought that
silly.
they would
think she
go
was just
serious
faking
with
it.
that too.
I know.
For a second, I thought they were going to do that and then have sort of a powerful theme about like she so wants to escape like the pain of her past. But no, it's just her trying to get a lot of money.
I did like how she called them for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. I mean, they're a family. So.
Yeah, like they've established that. Where
They're comfortable now. Like, even if she messes up, she knows when to admit it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other. Go ahead. No, okay. One other thing I really liked about this episode is that we see another child antagonist in a way. So a lot of the villains we see have like deep issues with their childhood or some like naivety about them. So this kid was comatose. He was 15. He's 15 at the time,
13.
but he was 13
Yeah,
when
he
he
was 13
was
when he was
had the
hacking.
accident. Yeah, he was a 13-year-old hacker, super good at it. And I don't know if I'm kind of interested to see how this ends, because if they carry this on in any sort of way. But it's like kind of like that theme of innocence and like lost innocence and how it's like manipulated and kind of strewn throughout this weird world and how they cope with stuff.
Well, one of my friends was talking to me about Bebop, and I don't think this is really a spoiler, but one of the things he said, I thought that was really apt to say, was that one of the themes that he really takes away strongly from the series is that you can't go back, right? Like, it's always about you can't go back. And I wonder if, like, this whole constant kind of stream of, like, going in childhood, exploring childhood is just really exploring how you can't go back to that. Like, it all changes, right? Like, you can't regain whatever it was that you lost.
Right.
I don't know if it's one of those, like, innocence
No, that's
lost
super.
sort of
That's
things.
yeah,
super.
yeah.
Like, I never thought of
That's
it that
really
way.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he like just summed it up like super like succinctly. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I was like, man, one, I'm not done yet, and two, how come you gotta be smarter than me?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of analyzed it before. Is like a lot of people longing to go back to the past and kind of wanting that, and we see that with some of our characters too, or with how they're acting kind of childish or something, and wishing for maybe.
or they're
childhood.
running from like in the kid's
Running
case,
from
it's like he wants
reality.
to go back to the past, but also kind of want to run away from the reality. Like he's stuck in this comatose body.
Yeah.
He wanted everyone to be like him.
Yeah, he's like, why am I the only one who's going through this? Like, it was really sad. And
It was sad that he was lonely.
yeah, he was.
And he
Yeah.
killed a bunch of people because he was lonely. So I had a little trouble being sad for him.
Yeah,
forever.
that's true. It's like, wait a second. He
He's
started
also
this entire
terrible.
cult, and then people are dying and whatever, and it's super messed up. Like, people are messed up because of their circumstances in Bebop.
Yeah.
That's so heavy.
It's so heavy.
And the next one is not lighter.
No.
I got so sad.
Episode 24, Hard Luck Woman. Denny Boy on Twitter at DBoyPR84 says, the last scene in Hard Luck Woman of Ein ruining after Ed gave me the same feels as watching the last scene of Bleep exiting out, just so that way you don't know what it is, because maybe people haven't seen the last episode of this show. Anyway, omitting, but yeah.
I like hashtag
So-
man tears
Yeah.
with the crying emoji
Yeah, the dog and crying
and the dog emoji.
Yeah,
I
it's really good, Danny
appreciate
Boy.
all of that.
Yeah, and then Del
Sad.
Toro says, nothing says the end is nigh like Ed and Eind walking into the sunset after a heartfelt bye-bye. See you, cowgirl, someday, somewhere. Oh, it's so sad. It was
I
so
know.
sad. FYI, the song at the end is called Call Me, and it's from the great Yoko Kano, obviously. Gah! It's so sad.
So the worst part about this is that I watched them walk off, and I'm like, it's okay. She could come back. She could come back. And then like the next like image is just like, see you, like, you know, cowgirl someday somewhere, and I'm like, she's not coming back.
Yeah. Even though she was just kind of comic relief silliness, she was so endearing. I loved her.
Well, it's kind of that whole like watching the band break up, right? Like
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like you're starting, like this is what we're watching now, right? So.
There was so much symbolism too. Like I was saying before the show
that's
started,
right.
there's
You had
like a
that really
ton
cool
of
stuff.
symbolism that I missed until it was pointed out that, like, for example, in Japan they have these things called mizuko kuyo, and there are these shrines to deceased infants. And on
Oh,
top of
Lord.
these shrines, they sometimes put pinwheels. And so in this episode, you see Spike or Jet, I can't remember which, like put the pinwheel on the Bebop, and it's sort of symbolizing that loss of both Ed and Faye. And in fact, Faye has a very like water is a symbol for her. Like, she grew up in like Singapore, and she's always in the shower, and there's always water associated
When
with
she
her.
was revived, like they actually brought her up.
Yeah, and
out
you
of,
actually
like,
see
yeah.
the water like I don't know what the word is, run off of her. And so it's like Mizuko is kind of like water child. And so there's this really sad theme of just this loss and how like Faye becomes almost childlike by the end. You know, and she's like
When she
running
runs
back to her house.
home, she kind of finally remembers who she was and where she
That-
lived.
and then she like
met her
outlines
so
her
unexpected.
bed and then like lies in it, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
So unexpected that she actually remembered everything. I actually thought it was going to be an episode where she runs into someone who miraculously recognizes her. She freaks out, right? And then she decides, like, I thought she had a change of heart and she was going to go back and talk to the lady, and then find out the lady like passed away or something, right? And it was like totally not what I expected. It was actually sadder.
Yeah, it was way sadder. And then it was so weird with, like, meanwhile, the parallel with Ed. Like, I like it kind of stars both of them. And so, like, Ed finds her father, whose name apparently sounds like in Turkish, excuse me, check please, which is so perfectly random for Ed. And it's like they have this very brief, happy reunion. And then he's like, oh, meteor, gotta go. And it's like, oh my gosh. Like, again, you can't go back to the past.
Yeah.
So
You can't fix what's happened, you know, like Ed's story. Like, we finally get more about Ed.
And
It's
her real
deserved.
name.
Yeah. Well, we've heard her name before.
Really?
Yeah, she said it in the very beginning.
I missed
and
it.
in her first episode. It's really long. That's probably why you missed it. And you're like, oh, okay. So Ed was left at a daycare by her father, and he just didn't pick her up.
No, not daycare.
Orphanage.
No, I thought she was left at a daycare. That's what they, or in the dub they say, like, she's left at a daycare and just didn't
No,
pick
I think
her
they
up.
sanitized it because the sub says that she was left at an orphanage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched a sub, and it
Weird.
said orphanage.
Huh. Yeah, because the dub's like, oh, just left
Yeah.
her there and forgot to pick you up or something. So,
No,
So
he
yeah,
just-
so she was she was at an orphanage
localization.
though. Yeah. So yeah, she was at an orphanage in the end, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
for a
she
few
had all
years,
her-
and then she just wandered off.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I just wandered off, and hopefully that she was good. And
Yeah.
It'll be interesting,
she
actually. We
was.
should, all the Japanese people, like Japanese speakers here, should actually listen to the sub and actually figure out what word they
We
said.
should,
Because then we
yeah.
can actually translate and see what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think all of us know enough to probably piece that together.
I don't have enough for that.
Oh, okay.
I could probably figure it out, but yeah. So it's super sad, and she's just happy-go-lucky. You know, Ed. She's herself.
I thought
but-
the nun's description of her was really apt. Like, where she's like, oh, it's like a cat. Like, you wander in, wander out.
Yeah.
And you see that, basically,
Yeah, and you also see
happen.
that with her dad, too. He's just also kind of, oh, we're doing this cool thing for Earth.
Yeah. And she kind of meows, too. Did you notice that she always responds with nyang? Yeah? Like meow, meow?
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, it brought that whole cat thing back together.
Yeah.
I was just like, that is so, like, I love Bebop for that. I love how everything ties back together.
Yeah, it's just, it's sad. And also in fairy tales that, go where you belong kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she leaves.
Then
I
she
thought she was in a state with the Bebop. I honestly did, because those are her family now. That's people care for her and like who she's cared for too.
Yeah, they went through all this to like cobble together this family where like Jet cooks for them and they all hang out in that living room space.
Jet, this is not the wrong episode, but like the previous episode when he's wearing that suit, like he totally, like they totally carry that theme of him being like a 1940s detective look. Like, did you notice that?
Dad.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I loved his explanation for why all Ed could say was Papa, Papa. Over it's like, yes, the shock of her brother being here, it broke her and now she's insane. Like trying to explain away her weird behavior was hilarious.
And it's also kind of fun seeing Ed dress up a little bit.
I liked, that was
I
so
also like
cute.
how she instantly, when they were done, she's like, off with the dress. Back to my shorts and my t-shirt.
Yeah.
Her dad couldn't even remember it was a boy or a girl.
That was hilarious
That
too.
was, like,
yeah.
Thanks for taking care of my son. I mean, daughter.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
daughter. I can't remember. And it's like, all right, runs in the
Oh my
family.
God.
Little scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice that Ayn ran after her though. It
Yeah,
was like
I was
they're
happy
the
about that.
buddies.
They're
And
total
she's
buddies.
like, I might not be coming back. And it's kind of the weird moment because you never see Ed be really serious. And that moment when Ayn comes after her, she just kind of stops and she's like, Ed might not be coming back. I mean, maybe, but probably not, kind of thing. And she's like, do you want to go with me? And then Ayn's like, yeah. And then they go together. It's just
The
so
adults are so screwed. No, I'm serious, because that dog has saved them so many times
Yeah.
in
and
so many
Ed's
random
hacking
moments.
skills have been
Yeah.
so useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why it's about to end. So 2 episodes left, guys. As we said, next time we on 25 and 26.
It's almost over.
Yeah, and then, well, actually, I changed my mind. I said I was gonna have the poll next episode. We're gonna have the poll ready this episode. I want to jump right into our next show. Like, I don't want to have us have a break. We're gonna go right into it. So we'll have the poll this week. So go to the article now and vote. Yeah, and then we can jump into after we finish Bebop. So no break for you guys. There's no break for anime.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing stops.
It's the lifestyle we've chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely excited for what's next in Cowboy Bebop. Very sad. I'm sad. It's almost over.
It's almost over. But it's been so
hate-
good.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling though when you're getting close to finishing a series and you just feel that loss. Just like, I'm not gonna have this in my life. That's why I collect things.
Yeah.
Then you have
To fill that
you fill
emotional
the void. You fill the
void.
emptiness with like a piece of art or something. You're like, now you're with me always, Spike.
Yeah.
But not in as pathetic of a way as that sounds. But just that's kind of just to tie it into the theme of the episode. That is kind of why I collect things. Is so I don't. It feels like, I watched this show, I really loved this show, and now I'm going to have a piece of art on my wall or a figurine to, like, commemorate how much I connected with this show or, like, what it meant to me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or just
the
because
same
it's
way.
cute. Sometimes that's why
cool.
I get things. Yeah. Or just, like, a cool thing, like a cool wall scroll or something.
There's a show in Japan called Cool Japan, and they use like half the
yeah.
soundtrack of Bebop
Oh,
for
cool.
it. And it's just like the neatest thing. Like Bebop just really stays with people. Like it's gotten into like mainstream culture a little bit in Japan.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, of course, as always, if you guys want to talk with us about Cowboy Bebop, the last 2 episodes, hoping for a lot of cool responses. Even if you've seen the episode or seen the show before, you probably know, in the end. Talk with us. You can email us at IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com or tweet to us with the hashtag IGNIME, IGNIME. And then also, if you're commenting on Facebook about it, please do the hashtag as well because it's just the easy way to find it. Like sometimes it gets lost in the post if you don't have like certain keywords. So do that, and we will try to get your guys' comments on the show.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Wait, what's everyone's Twitter handle, by the way? Callie, what's your Twitter?
Oh, if you're going to tweet at us, I am Inky Dojiko, which is INKYDOJIKKO. That's me.
I'm at Havoc Rose, Havoc with a K.
At Megan_IGN, Megan with an H.
And I am at Morphing Ball.
And this is IGN Anime Club, episode 14. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yay!
One more thing. We closed and then we didn't mean it. We have a really awesome special guest next episode. Tell us about it, Megan.
We do. Well, I kind of want to leave it as surprise because I think he's locked in, but there is a voice actor who's going to be on. He is very famous for many roles in anime. So to find out who it is, you're going to have to tune in next week.
Yeah, so send us, if you have any general questions about voice actors or something, be sure to send those in.
Questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you guys so much.
Yes,
And for
okay.
real this time. Bye.
Bye.
Yay, anime.